Seersucker soup on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Good day, and welcome to Capital Region Today. Ann will be with you in another segment. So today, we are going to hear from Schenectady Rotary, Murder Mystery Theater. We're going to hear about the Sycamore Summer Lunch Program and the Our Redeemer Lutheran Church Summer Lunch Program. The Mountain Ridge Adventure, sounds like fun, and Adirondack Theater Festival in Glens Falls. So, as usual, Ann has planned a wonderful program for us to learn more about our communities. And our first guest today is from the Schenectady Rotary. Hello, Nicholas.
Hello.
This is Nicholas Clay. So what is your role in Schenectady Rotary?
Yeah, so I'm the past president from the last Rotary calendar year, and so my role currently is going back to being a normal member, supportive. Technically, I'm in charge of the foundation, the Schenectady Rotary Foundation.
Mm-hmm. And so what does that do? What does that mean in our area?
Yeah, it does what everything that Rotary does is giving back to the community. And so a foundation is another pool of money in which we can grow our assets so that we can give back to nonprofits.
And what kind of, do you have a specific nonprofit a specific kind of nonprofit that you look to support?
We don't have a specific. We look at where we can make the largest impact with the funds that we have. And currently, over the past year and a half, 2 years, we've partnered specifically with the community schools. So our impact now has been more of a focus towards the school system and those community schools, specifically Kane Elementary is the school that we've partnered with.
And what did you help them with at Kane?
Yeah, so our last big fundraiser, which was the Cornhole for a Cause, we raised funds so that we could refurbish their community room, which gives a lot of resources to all the families that are connected for all the kids that go to that school.
Oh, yes. So you do have a cornhole for a cause coming up.
Yes, yes.
So can you explain what that is anyway?
Yes.
For those of us that aren't too sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's playing the game of cornhole, which is where you throw the beanbag on the other board that has a hole on the other side. So as simple as that. And it's there to create a fun event where we can raise funds to, again, give back to the community. So that's the gist of it. And there's other assortment of prizes, raffles. We have live entertainment. So we want to make a fun event out of it while we're also collecting funds to give back.
And so do you come in with a cornhole team, or how do you have your composition or competitiveness there?
Yeah, so we're partnered with the Adirondack Cornhole League, or ACL.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a league?
Yeah, it gets
oh
serious.
My gosh.
And we have 4 divisions though, so it's for anyone. I have my little cheat sheet here. We have professionals, competitive, intermediate, or novice. So there's people that will come, just like if you're going bowling and you have your own balls, there's people that will go to cornhole and they have their own set of bags and they're to spec. So they have to be set up in a certain way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so there's some pretty incredible players when it comes to how good some of these guys can get.
Do they flip in the air and things like that?
Different techniques. Some flip, some are throwing it a little bit like a frisbee. There's also double-sided, so it's what side you want to hit, how much slide, how much stick. Yeah, so there's a bit more that goes to it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. That there was a hole in my education. I knew nothing about it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're having music. So are they local musicians coming in?
Yeah, so I'll actually be the DJ for the event.
Uh-huh.
And so the first 4 hours or so, we'll have that live music going. and that's where the bulk of the tournament will be running. And then after that, I'm fairly certain it'll be like last year, where there'll be a singles tournament as well. So the tournament becomes a full day event.
Oh.
Yeah.
And where are they holding this?
Rivers Casino, July 7th, 9 a.m. registration. Bags fly at 10 a.m. and participants must register through the Adirondack Cornhole League, which there is a link on our site. So if you go to SchenectadyRotary.org, you'll see the click that will then direct you to their site.
Now, how long have you been involved in Rotary?
Oh, great question. I think it is going on 6 years now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 6 years since I joined.
And who is eligible to join Rotary?
That's also a great question, because it's not what it used to be. So essentially, anyone who is interested in participating in volunteering with the community, giving back in the community, is eligible. We're also looking for members that truly do want to participate. So as nice as it is to have members that pay to
pay
be
the
on,
dues, sure.
we do look for participation over just having due-paying members. So it's spread a lot more than it used to be when there was a narrow, specific person.
I always associated it with businesses or something like that, a business
It
owner
used to
at
be.
one time.
It used to be men only at higher positions, deeper pockets, and that's where it started. And so I think it was in the 80s when women were allowed in, which miraculously some clubs still have not caught up with that. I won't name names. However, I think that truly the Schenectady Club is the most diverse that you'll see in the area.
Oh,
Yeah.
which is wonderful. If you're going to help a community, it is good if you represent the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yeah. So this happens July 7th. Are there other activities that the Rotary Club has, or is thinking about doing or has planned?
What we have done and continuing to do is we do flower sales for Mother's Day, and then we do mums in the spring, which I think are, I think
in
mums
the
are
fall?
coming up. Yeah, it must be
Yeah.
in the fall.
Yeah.
We do those. We do wreaths for Christmas.
Yes.
We do bell ringing for Salvation Army. So these are more of the traditional ones that we've done. What else do we do? Those are the major ones.
Yes.
Cornhole's been the newest one. And another reason why it's good to have new members is because we're always looking for new ideas.
Oh, yes.
And one thing I love about Rotary is that it's built from the bottom up. So the newest member has the most influence on what the club does.
Oh, yes, because they bring new ideas to the organization itself. Yeah.
Yes. So in the midst of the fundraisers that we currently do, we're always open to new ideas and how we can run other ones.
Now, at one time, did Rotary support students going overseas and stuff like that?
Oh, we still do that. We have our student exchange program. We have a student over right now. I'm forgetting the country that she's in, having a great time though. And so we'll send a student overseas at a country that they can select, and then we usually take in a student
Oh, yes.
that's here. So yeah, that's still ongoing.
Yes, yeah, which is wonderful. As somebody who does travel overseas, it just gives you such a different view of the world and also your country.
Yes. Yeah, it's highly beneficial to travel. It's one of the most natural ways to expand our awareness of self and the world and people.
Yes, yes. So Rotary has been around for
100 plus years.
100+ years.
Yes. And we're one of the oldest clubs. We're, I think, 106.
Really?
right now?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The Schenectady Rotary.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm also happy on how close I'm getting with these fun facts.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of when it was established. Somewhere around 1919, give or take,
Okay.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it was founded.
But a long, long lasting service to our community. And you see their names associated with such good things.
Yes, it's a global organization. It is
Yes.
the, I think, second oldest organization in the world, 1.4 million members. There's something like 30,000 plus clubs all over the world. So another benefit about being Rotarian is when you travel, you can partake and stop by in any club in the neighboring area and most of the time, if not all the time, Rotarians are happy to house you during your travels as well. So you always have essentially a place, a community that you can connect with anywhere in the world.
Yes, which is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful, and that's really how you gain an understanding of a community, of an area, is not only to see the wonderful sights, but to talk and interact with the people.
Yeah, and see what they do, because every club, the way they give back to the community is different.
Yes.
And so you can understand a lot about the community and the needs and the members by how they give back to their community.
Yes, yes, yeah. Well, again, tell us date and time for your wonderful cornhole event.
Yes.
What do they call it?
Sunday, July 7th, Rivers Casino, 9 a.m. registration, 10 a.m. bags fly, and it's $5 for spectators. Kids are free.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nicholas,
Yeah,
for
thank you.
being here and talking about Rotary and all the good things they do and how we can support you doing those good things.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hello. How are you, Jen?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. So Jen is going to tell us about the Murder Mystery Theater, The Dinner Detective.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about this murder mystery. Everybody loves mysteries.
It's so much fun. Dinner Detective is started by some people in California. We have 90 locations throughout the country. There are 5 locations right here in New York. I believe there's Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, Albany, and New York City. Albany being the newest of all the New York ones. We started, I believe it was last fall.
So this is a group of an organization that just does dinner theater
Yes.
murder mysteries.
Yes.
Because I know that some local theater groups put on a murder mystery once in a while. But this is really just an overall organization.
Yeah, we run year round. We do at least 2 public shows a month.
Oh.
And we do our shows at the Hilton Garden Inn on New Scotland Avenue, right across from Albany Med, right across
Okay.
from the hospital. We have a ballroom that we use, and it's a 4-course dinner, soup, salad, dinner rolls, 3 separate entrees that come with rice and a vegetable, dessert, coffee, and then there's a cash bar. And you can go to the website and sign up either as a couple, a single, a group. We also have special packages called suspect packages. And if you want, if you're a group and you're signing up for a suspect package, somebody in your group will be a suspect. You send us a picture of that person, and the detectives will out them as a
That
suspect.
might be quite a prank to put on somebody.
Yeah,
actually.
it is. The one thing that is most important and is we have the host and the 2 detectives that are not suspects. Everybody else in the audience, when you come in, you check in, and then you have to put a name tag on, and you have to put your alias or your code name. You can't put your real name.
Oh, okay.
People come up with some really interesting names, some that I won't mention on TV. But the host will make it very clear that if you're wearing a name tag, you are a suspect. And it starts out the night, he'll introduce himself, or she will introduce herself and play some games and just warm up the audience.
Okay, yeah.
And then we have these interrogation sheets at every table with pencils, and you can write down your name and who you think it did, who the murderer is, what the reason is. On the other side of the interrogation sheet are questions, and we encourage audience members to go around the room during breaks and just interrogate people, ask them the questions that are on there or whatever questions they want. Just to get a feel, to find out who they think it is. There are 4 different 4 acts. So it gives time for interaction, to go to the bar, to eat dinner.
Okay.
And after every act, the detectives come back into the room with clues that they've found throughout each act. And they're laminated and placed up on the wall in like 4 different locations.
Okay.
They're the clues, and then there's a sheet with a QR code. And you just scan the QR code and you get all of the clues for that act. So it's really a lot of fun. I mean, the host says right from the beginning, if you think you're coming here and are not going to participate, you're wrong.
Oh,
everybody participates because everybody's a suspect.
Now, are the actual murder mysteries then sent to the different locations? So do you get the murder mystery handed to you, the outline of it, from that overall umbrella group?
Yes, we do 4 shows, 4 different shows, and we rotate every 6 months.
Okay.
And they email us the script, and it's just a loosely based script, just giving
Yes.
us, because it's mostly improvisation.
Right.
So as long as we follow the story, we're good. But we can add whatever we want and whatever the audience gives us, which is usually a lot.
So that if you've been to one, you haven't done it. Each one of them is different, and probably for some people, going to a second or third one, they probably understand how it works better and maybe come in with some different ideas. Do you have a lot of repeat customers?
We haven't. We really haven't had
just
any.
rotation.
I've been doing this since December of 23. So far, I haven't seen any repeat customers.
Oh, yes, okay.
But the thing is, we have about 45 actors.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
this show that we're doing right now has eight parts.
Oh.
So we rotate.
Oh, yes.
There are some people that are in every show. I have been very lucky. Since Valentine's Day, I've done every single show. We also, besides the public shows, at least 2 public shows a month at the Hilton Garden Inn, we also do private shows. People could sign up for a private show.
Like for a birthday or something?
A birthday, a group, the Rotary Club, whatever, any organization.
Okay.
And we will either do it at the hotel or we will travel to you.
Oh.
So we do off-site shows. We've done shows at Union College as a student activities thing. We were up in Silver Springs, New York, a couple of weeks ago for an event, and I believe we'll be going to Siena College at the end of the month.
Now, how much is the cost of all of this?
For a regular ticket for a public show is around $76. That includes the show and a 4-course meal.
Yeah.
Water and coffee is included. Any other beverages you can purchase at the bar. The more alcoholic beverages you purchase and drink, the more fun the night gets.
Up to a certain point.
Yes.
Up to a certain point. And if you were going to do this for a private party or something like that, what is that cost range there?
That I'm not sure of. That's something that's arranged with the company.
Oh, the company itself.
Okay.
Yes.
And the website is thedinerdetective.com. For Albany, it's //Albany, but it's all one word, thedinerdetective.com. And you can go there, you can get your tickets, you can get your suspect packages, you can do private parties, you can buy merchandise. They have everything from t-shirts to mugs to socks It's
Oh.
a lot of, and you can see a lot of reviews. Another thing with reviews, they have on every table, they have a table number, and on that table number is a QR code. And you scan the QR code, you can write a review, and it goes to different social media. At the end of the night, if you show the host that you've written a review, they give you a shot glass that says The Dinner Detective.
Oh, okay.
Also, the show is, besides being a murder mystery, it's also, they call it a prize-winning competition. Whoever gets the closest to who did it, why, and I mean, the whole bit, they figure it all out. They get a prize of a shot glass and a gift certificate towards another show.
Oh, so a little bit like Clue.
Yeah.
In that who did it, what room, although you know the room because it's there, but
Right.
all the other elements.
Well, basically, who the murderer was, why they did it.
Motivation, yeah. Motive. Hmm. Well, it sounds like it's a lot of fun.
It is, the audience brings a lot of what
Oh,
goes
yes,
on.
that's
I
what
mean,
makes it.
I mean, some of the first show that I did, we had a table of people that were all members of the Gilligan's Island cast.
No?
So I mean, it's just what people bring to it.
Yes.
So every show is different. It's
Yes.
the same basic outline, but everything's different depending on what the audience member
Right.
bring.
Right.
But as a cast, we have a blast.
Oh, you must.
We have so much
Yes.
fun. It's funny.
Yes.
You know, it's serious, but there are funny moments.
Yes.
The detectives are hysterical.
Yeah.
They do all kinds of shtick. It's
Yes.
just a blast.
Yeah, and if you have somebody come in or a group that comes in that is comfortable with improv, you could see it would be such a fun night. Well, thank you very much, Jen, for telling us about The Dinner Detective. So I'm sure that people will go to the site and check it out for some unusual entertainment.
Well, I hope so. We can fit in our ballroom. We can fit probably about 100 people.
Okay, good to know. Thank you very much, Jen, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Familiar face to me here. We have Aldo and we have Shanira.
Yes.
And they're from an organization that I volunteer for every Friday, actually, and the last Thursday of the month, which is the Sycamore Collaborative. Some people probably still know it as SYCAM, but if you know the organization, you know that they are people who provide food with people, for people who are insecure in that manner. But we're going to talk specifically right now about what happens during the summer. So I'm going to turn it over to Aldo, and if you'd give us an idea, and then Shanira, if you wanted to add something.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you for having us here. My name is Aldo, and I serve as Deputy Director for Sycamore Collaborative. And we are in the process of organizing our summer meal program. Now, the summer meal program has been around for close to 30 years. And just last year, just to give you some statistics, we were able to serve about 13,000 meals to kids in the community that otherwise wouldn't have had access to this food. So it's a very important program. And right now, we're in the process of organizing, identifying, working on the logistics to the sites that are going to be open this year.
Mm-hmm. And how many sites do you hope to have open this year?
We have confirmed as of now 11 sites across the city of Schenectady. We are open to add more sites as necessary, but as of now, there's 11 confirmed sites that will be open.
And one of them will be at the Albany Street
Correct.
complex,
Correct.
where people often get their food.
Correct. The service times run from 11:15, 11:30 in the morning, all the way to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's about 3 hours that the lunches are served. You're absolutely right. One of the sites is going to be our main location, but we're also going to be present at different parks across the city of Schenectady. We're going to be present at Schenectady Public Library. We're going to be present at Messiah Lutheran Church in Rotterdam. We're going to be present at Girls Inc., Quackenbush Pool, Central Park, Hillhurst Park, Jerry Burrell Park, and I lost count of how many I have.
Yes. And now, sometimes they've had mobile
Right.
units. So will they be doing that this
Correct.
year? You're
Actually,
not
I'm
sure?
I'm glad you asked because, and I'm going to give you a little bit of context here. Maybe you want to start by mentioning how the program started, because it's very interesting to hear this.
Okay, so the program started almost 30 years ago with our executive director then, Reverend Phil Grigsby. He actually gave a child either some sort of sandwich, cheese sandwich or peanut butter sandwich, I don't know which one, during the summer. And after that, he came back, he had a few friends, and then that's kind of how this program started. He was like, oh, this is like a need that we have in the community. And they used to deliver lunches, I think, out of like a school bus and stuff and things like that, and it like really expanded and grew and turned into what it is today. And sometimes there's congregate settings, which Alda can speak more about this year, and then during COVID there were a lot of mobile settings, so that was like our grab and go model.
Yes, yes.
So we're close to our 30th year. I think this is the 29th year that we have been providing this service to the community. The program started goodwill. You know, people got together, we started to assemble sandwiches and deliver them in the community. And we managed to open several sites across the city of Schenectady over the last few years. Just to put it in context, during COVID years, I think on 2022, the number of meals that were delivered during the summer was close to 60,000 meals.
Wow.
And that's in part because of the option to do grab and go, which means the
Yes.
kids from the community were able to show up at the location,
Right.
grab their food, take it with them.
Yes.
Last year, things went back to normal. So the grab and go was no longer an option. Now it's a congregate setup, which means the kids need to have their meals at the location in order to be served food.
And one of the reasons that I understood is that we want to be sure that the children
Correct.
are the ones eating
Correct.
food.
That's one of the reasons. We want to make sure that they're having their food, that they're children, that is not going somewhere else. And also, to be completely fair, is we are reimbursed on the kits that we provide to children. So if we're not able to make the case or justify that we're giving food to children, then the cost is not being reimbursed to the organization, which is important because even though the reimbursement ratio that we receive does not cover everything, it does cover a huge portion of what the cost of bringing the service to the community.
And isn't that what happens with certain things? People ask, why can't you do this or that? And part of it is there perhaps are restrictions
Yeah.
in what is reimbursed because we all know the cost of food is very, very, very high.
Right.
And I'm just going to mention one program. I volunteered for the summer lunch program as our church, our Redeemer, for many, many years. And often we were in Collins Park, but there won't be Collins Park this year for food. But my church, our Redeemer Lutheran, on 103 South Reynolds, it's actually the corner of South Reynolds and Glen. We will be serving Friday free lunches, and ours is for everyone in the community.
Oh, that's great.
11:30 to 12:30. So every Friday through starting the last Friday in June, running July and August. It's a sandwich lunch, fruit, similar to what the kids get.
Yeah.
But it's also air conditioned. But it's a nice way for those that might be alone to have lunch with people.
Nice.
So again, we ask people to eat within the setting. That way we know the food is used in a timely manner and this kind of thing. But I did want to mention that. But your food, where can people find the information of when they can get the food in the
So
locations?
within our website, which is sycamorecollab.org, there's a section for summer meals. And that section displays the list of sites that are going to be open, the times that the food are going to be served, the partners that have established partnership with us. So all the information related to summer meals is going to be found on the site. There's also email to which people can send us an email and we can provide information, which is summermeals@sycamorecollab.org. You send us an email, you have questions, we're going to try to provide all the answers that are needed. And our information email for Sycamore, which is info@sycamorecollab.org as well. And we're going to be distributing flyers throughout the city. We're going to be putting banners at different locations. One of the things that we managed to do this year that I think is important to highlight is that we managed to establish partnerships with different organizations that are helping us making this a success. Not that it hasn't been in the past, but we have done it alone for the most part.
Right.
And the approach for this year and in years to come is to reach out to potential partners that want to collaborate with us to help this a success. And part of what we have achieved is that this year we're going to have Create Studios coming on board, and they're going to be providing arts and crafts at some of the locations. We also going to have United Way that is partnering with us and bringing other connections to try to make of each one of the sites a hub for the community. In other words, it's not going to be only lunches for kids, but we also want to bring other services that may benefit the community. A vaccine drive, information about pantries, a mobile pantry potentially is going to be present at some of these locations. And this is only possible because we managed to establish partnerships with United Way, Boys and Girls of Schenectady, Girls Inc., YMCA, and all these organizations that want to contribute, and certainly we need the help.
Yes, and I think that's one of the things that you see, this person does a little, this person does a little, and if you can have that umbrella group, you can bring everything together and make better use of all the resources that are there. I mean, in a sense, Proctor's having the box office for many different small theater groups allows them to worry about other things,
Right.
you know, the costumes and the show itself, rather than having to see who's going to be at my box office at this time. So again, to make better use of the resources that are there, because all of those people you mentioned have a history of working with the community.
Right.
Correct.
And certainly, as we know, people need food.
Yeah.
And it's difficult now to keep that food insecurity at bay for some families, even working families.
Yeah.
You get to see it firsthand
I
every
see
Friday.
it every Friday.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right. And people so often are saying, I'm running off to my job.
Right.
And again, if you're someone who just looks in, you don't know the makeup of the people who are in need of a little help
Right.
food-wise.
That's correct.
And speaking of the food, this year we're in partnership with the Schenectady City School District.
That is correct.
And that's who's providing the food. That's our provider this year.
Oh, yeah.
So the kids will be familiar with what they're getting.
Yes.
And make sure that it's quality, because it's not just making sure that they eat, but like, what are you giving them? Do they like it? Is it nutritious?
Yes.
We're actually switching from regular sandwiches and cold meals to hot meals.
I
So
heard
we're in the
that.
process of working the
Yeah.
logistics of bringing the food to sites, keep it within the standards that are
Standard,
required.
right. Yeah,
And that's a huge task. But
Oh, it is.
But we truly believe that it's going to be a success because we have the right people involved and we have the community supporting us to do this.
Yes.
So it's coming all together. We're just 25 days away from it, which I like to mention this. We have a kickoff event
Yes.
on Friday the 28th of this month.
Yes.
And that's going to be open to everyone. There's going to be free food. There's probably going to be games. There's going to be different organizations
Music,
that are going to be
tables.
present, music, activities. And this is our kickoff event for summer meals. We want to make sure the community is aware that this is happening, that everyone is welcome, and that we're working together to provide this service to those who need it.
Yes, and I happen to see that, and since it's my Friday work day,
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably we'll hang out there.
Good.
Yeah.
And just speaking of collaboration and community, this program runs a lot on volunteers. So if anyone is interested in volunteering or working with us throughout the summer, we're open to that. And you can either info at SICM, summer meals at sycamorecollab.org, or even volunteer at sycamorecollab.org too.
And we know time and time again, you hear people saying, as we've come out of the pandemic, there are some people that are still a little blue, a little sad. Boy, there's nothing like helping somebody else. And
Especially children.
And especially children. And it brightens your life and adds meaning to it. So thank you both for all the good work that you do, and that we're bringing food to the people in a manner that gets it to them and they eat it. And also to find ways to work with partners that are out there to be more effective. So,
The reality is that we cannot do it alone. And the better service we provide.
yes. So thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
So once you've been eating and giving your body good food, then you can go do a mountain ridge adventure zip lining or something. So hello, Michael, and hello, Olivia.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
So tell us about your zip line pack.
Yes, it's a treetop obstacle and zipline park. So it has both zip lines, which I think most people know what those are. It's fun sailing through the trees. But we also have a lot of obstacles up in the park, which means that there's tires to cross, cargo nets. We have a Tarzan swing. So when you've eaten all your great food and you have a lot of energy that you need to get out there, it's great to get people outside in nature. Not a lot of people know where we're located. We're just outside of Schenectady, right in the hills. So once you pass through the city, we're about 15 minutes from downtown Schenectady, and we're up in the big, beautiful hills of West Glenville, New York.
West Glenville.
So it's right up in the hills, just outside of the city, and it's all wooded. So you're in the shade, which is really great during the summertime. So when it starts to get really warm, you're going to be in the shade and in the cool up in the trees.
So how long have they been able to go? I love the Tarzan rope routine. I mean, do you give lessons, you know?
You must make that noise.
Oh, you must
when
make
you're
the
We
noise.
do,
Oh, that-
we-
you have to sign
extra
that.
points for that.
We do encourage the Tarzan yell.
Yes, it does add to the fun.
The whole experience takes between 2 and 4 hours. So
Wow.
it's pretty extensive. We have 7 courses. And it's a destination. We pull a lot from New York City, a lot from Syracuse. We've had people actually fly in that have heard about us, which is
Oh,
always
wow.
exciting to say, wow, you're coming here for us.
It's quite humbling. Yeah.
So it is, it's definitely something where you almost have to see it to imagine it. We actually have a grand piano 50 feet in the air that you climb over, and it teeter-totters, and
Oh, you climb. You don't have to play.
you don't play it.
Oh, okay. You just climb over it.
So there's a bunch of whimsical stuff in the trees, and it's kind of a magical day where at the end of it, some people will say, wow, this is the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Well, you know, I have to say, especially as adults, unless you're with your grandchildren or something, you know, we limit our fun sometimes.
Adults don't play enough.
Yes,
Right.
You know,
yes,
Right.
unless it's competitive sports or
Right.
something. Yes.
But just to be able to get out there with your friends, your family, even we've also gotten people just by themselves that just want to come out for the day. You know, people just don't play enough. They don't laugh enough. And to be able to get them to not only play, but you're also getting good exercise, whether you realize it or not.
Yes.
So we know that at the end of the tour, we are doing our job when people leave with a big smile on their face and also tired. You know, so it's a great combination of bringing joy to people's lives, getting out in nature, and also getting a little workout out of it too, which is
Now,
nice.
how did you come up with this idea?
So it's interesting because we're almost upon Father's Day. We say that Father's Day is the birth of our park because about 11 years ago, so we're both husband and wife, we have 2 teenage boys now. Back then they were little, and I was trying to think of what to get Michael for Father's Day. And my other profession is I'm a structural engineer, so I design buildings. And I thought, what could I get Michael that's great for the family, that as an engineer I can be proud of building? And I bought for him a 500-foot long zip line for Father's Day. And I said, you know, it was a big commercial project that this is not a backyard zip line that I wanted to build.
Yes.
And so this was all in secret, so I bought this big, huge wheel of cable all the way from Louisiana. I bought it. It's an aircraft cable, and that one zip line turned into a business.
Wow.
And it is by far an amazing business to have. I mean, it brings such joy into our lives, bringing joy to other people. And so for Father's Day, we say that it's kind of our gift.
Yeah, it's a special day for us because of how it was started. So a lot of people ask about, you know, do you have to be an athlete to do it? And when we design the park, it's really designed for the average person. And what happens is you start out low to the ground, relatively easy, and then you progressively get a little higher, a little more difficult, until you get to be now where, okay, I think I need to be an athlete to keep going.
Oh, okay.
So everybody kind of
chooses their own.
chooses their own ending,
Yes.
and then they finish on the zipline park.
Oh, okay.
So the zipline park, it's a 10 zipline canopy tour. It's a great day. Some folks come and just zip line because obstacles can be, you know, somewhat difficult. Some folks come and do the whole thing.
And some groups come in and they split so that, you know, one group does just the zip lines, some do the obstacles. And the nice thing about the layout of the park is that as they're zipping, they can wave to all of their relatives or friends and say, I'm just having a good time while you're working hard down on those obstacles. So it's nice because when we design the park, we realize that everybody has different desires of what they considered fun. You know, some people physically can't do obstacles. Like Michael's sister, she had early onset rheumatoid arthritis. So, you know, for her hands, it was really difficult for her to do these challenges. So I said, you know, I wanted to create a park that could take someone like his sister, where you can do a zip line, where you're not having to have these challenges, but you're still able to enjoy the day with your family. You don't feel bad because you're being left out of these activities. And it's really nice because you get these whole family to come in together, and you know, a few will do the zip lines, a few will do the harder obstacles, but at the end, you know, they start together and they end together, which is really a nice thing for a group coming in, and it's wonderful to see that. Yeah.
So even if, so what are the limitations that people might have that preclude them from participating? Or can everybody participate at a certain level?
Yeah, so it's 6 years of age is where we start.
Okay.
So there is a limitation of age.
Yes.
There is a limitation of 275 pounds. And that isn't because the system can't handle that weight. It's just the speed now. Because the zip lines, if you come in too fast, it could be dangerous. So we do limit the weight of individuals. But we've had, our oldest participant was, on her birthday, was 93. So now she did just the zip line part.
Yes.
But
She came with her whole family.
yeah.
It was really
So the gamut
exciting.
is, again, from 6 years of age all the way up. Every walk of life. It's also a great experience for our guides because we are exposing them to all walks of life.
Yes.
We might get a group from Flushing, Queens, that don't speak English. And
Interesting,
so you're
yes.
exposing our local staff
Right.
to something they've not experienced.
Right.
So it's great because we bring in this culture to us.
Right.
And
it is
it's a
reminder.
reward. It's back and forth. So we're
Yes.
giving this, but we're also
Yes.
as the guides, we're also getting something out of it, and it's really rewarding.
Well, I think that's nice to know that there are guides. To know
Oh
that-
yes,
and
it's a
help
guided
you through.
experience.
It's a
Yeah,
guided
so you have a
experience,
guide
okay.
associated to each group.
Oh, yes, good.
That guide stays with you for 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, yes,
They
okay.
get to
and-
know your name.
Yeah, you build a rapport.
Yeah.
Well, that for some people that would make a difference. You know, if they
Oh, yeah.
thought that they were going through this on their own rather than with a guide, that would
Right.
be
And
very
that was,
nice.
yeah, that was very important when we opened this business. You know, we researched a lot of other parks, and that's the one thing that we really wanted to do is to establish that connection with the guide and the person participating, because a lot of people come to us absolutely scared to do it. We
Oh,
get a
yes,
lot
I'm
of
sure.
people, it's on their bucket list, they're very
Right.
nervous, and we work with them. We don't
Yes.
just put them up in the trees and walk away and have a cup of coffee.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of back and forth, really helping people get through that need that extra support.
I had been a crew for a friend's hot air balloon for over 25 years, and the same thing. Part of our job as setting up the balloon and this kind of thing was to talk to people and show them what was going to happen.
Right,
because they really want to do it, but they're scared to death. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's the same.
Oh,
for
yes.
yours, yeah.
I love to say that newbies,
Yeah.
which is what we call someone who's
Of
never
course.
done this before,
course.
they're my favorite type of person because they come in saying, who brought me here?
Oh, yes, yes,
what
yes,
am I
yes.
doing? What have I signed up for?
Right.
And they're very nervous, apprehensive. And at the end of the tour, when they are literally giving me high fives, some hugs,
Yes.
it is the greatest feeling in the world to see
Yes.
that transition from people.
So we know it's in West Glenville, and so how do they get information? How much does it cost? What are some nitty-gritty things about it?
So it's the best way to contact us is online, mountainridgeadventure.com. Most people reserve online through the website. Costs range from as low as $46, and it goes up from there if you're coming in with a group. Our main pass is called the Treetop Pass, and that basically gives you access to the whole park, and it's $61 per person for that. There are some additional things. We have Leap of Faith jump, which is a 40-foot kind of bungee jump. So you jump from 40 feet.
Okay, you can skip your
do that.
coffee
Yeah.
for the day.
Yeah.
That'll wake you up.
We have we get a lot of school groups and sports teams and colleges, and so we have some additional activities for those groups also. But it's really a wonderful day.
And is there a place to grab food, lunch, or something there?
We have a little
snack?
snacks
Okay.
at the Welcome Center.
Yeah, because if you're there for all of those hours,
Yeah.
you may,
Yeah.
Or
I mean-
do people bring theirs in their backpack or something?
People can bring snacks, but honestly, we have a binder of all of the restaurants in
Oh,
the
yes,
in,
okay, yeah.
you know, the closest half hour from us,
Yeah.
because so many times people will finish and they're like, "Where's a great restaurant?" Because
Yes,
they're coming
good.
from out of town.
Oh,
And
yes.
so I'm saying, well, which direction are you traveling?
Right.
I can tell you
Right, right.
different
Yeah,
places.
I mean we're
to go.
15 minutes literally
It's-
from here.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes.
we are sending guests to downtown Schenectady
Hey,
all the
yeah,
time.
All of that is good.
Yeah.
Those that have later tours, we're sending them to the local breweries.
Yes.
They have to
Zip
go
and
after,
zip.
not before, please.
Right. Yes.
Yes,
not.
yes.
Right.
So it's a supportive relationship we have with the community.
And everything that, again, whether you're feeding people, you want partners, and whether it's a business, you want partners. It sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And Father's Day is coming up, so another anniversary of your idea.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Sounds like fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi there.
So we're going to close our segment today with the Adirondack Theater Festival. So this is Miriam Weisfeld. And hello, Miriam.
Hello.
So What's your festival about? What's going to happen in Glens Falls?
Let me tell you a little bit about the Adirondack Theater Festival. If you're not familiar with ATF, we are the Capital Region's only professional theater festival dedicated to new musicals and plays. So ATF is really a research and development lab for the American theater. Now, shows developed at ATF have gone on to Broadway, off-Broadway, national tours, international productions. In fact, a show called Murder for Two, which started at ATF many years ago, has played off-Broadway around the country and just did a run in Shanghai. So this is a pretty incredible impact that this small but mighty festival has.
Yes, yes.
And one of the really exciting things about this season is that the creators of that show, Murder for Two, are back with a brand new show. Now, this speaks, I think, so highly of the festival that when these guys created a new show, they called us and said, can we start it in Glens Falls? Because we love making new work here so much.
Yes.
So the concept of this show, I laugh every time I try to describe this. So the show is called Todd versus the Titanic.
Okay.
And at an unnamed theater in Schenectady, not unlike the one that we're in right now, rehearsals are underway for a musical about the sinking of the Titanic.
There is one.
There is one. This is a new one. It's called Keep Playing, and it's about the band that played on the Titanic
that's right,
as it
they
went down.
sink.
So this is a huge cast musical, about 30 people, and as they are finishing rehearsals, an apocalyptic event happens outside the theater that wipes out every single member of the cast except the guy with the smallest role. This guy named Todd, and he is alone and terrified, and in order to keep himself sane, he attempts to perform the entire musical by himself.
So is it a one-person
It is a
show?
one-person, massive new musical comedy. It is an incredible feat of virtuosity for this actor. And it's also this beautiful tribute to the power of art to sustain us in the darkest of times.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, but my gosh. I mean, occasionally you're asked to play a couple roles in a show or something, but all of them, I don't know how people do that.
There are not many actors who can do it. Joe Kinosian is one of those magical creatures who is able to do that. He's just dazzling.
And what is his background? I mean, is he one of these people that has been on Broadway and things like this, or is he local?
He's based in Chicago. He was based in New York City for a very long time. So he is actually the composer who created all of the music. He performed Murder for Two with one other actor. That's a show for two actors where they perform, I think, 13 roles. Well over 13 roles he's tackling by himself in this, and he's just dazzling.
Oh my gosh, my gosh. So you say he's just dazzling. So has it opened, or when does it open, or when is your festival?
The first production runs June 27th through July 3rd. So that's Todd versus the Titanic. After that, we're doing a developmental concert presentation of a brand new musical that's aimed for Broadway, and this does have more than one actor. This is a larger cast musical. It's a historical epic. It's just fascinating. It's called The King's Wife, and it is about the secret history of the first wives of Henry VIII. So you think about Catherine of Aragon and Anne Boleyn, right? We imagine them as rivals. There are historical clues that indicate they may have actually had a secret alliance to figure out how to lay the groundwork for a woman to take over the throne after Henry VIII. Because of course you remember, Henry VIII famously had no male heir.
Right.
Who was his heir? Queen Elizabeth I, who was the daughter of Anne Boleyn.
Right.
A lot of us forget that.
Yeah.
And so this is a really, really innovative new musical with a gorgeous score created by this Grammy-nominated Nashville songwriter named Jamie Floyd. So it's this incredibly cool contemporary pop sound for this just
very old story.
Incredible, but also timeless story about female rivalry and friendship.
Yes, and the roles that women were allowed to have, and the power, and how they used their power. One of the reasons that people wanted to limit women and not allow them to vote was, oh, well, you're going to influence your husband and he'll vote the way you want. It's like, what? Can we just vote on our own, please?
Right.
And so the role of women in so many different societies, even our native people in our area were tribes where the women controlled very much of the power, and they made the declaration of war. So they would send off the warriors, but you had very strong women. So to have these strong women in that musical, that would be very interesting.
It's fascinating, yeah, and of course, tremendous voices, you know, tremendous songs for these powerhouse actors that we've got coming in from New York City and around the country. We've got one actress who just did the national tour of Tina Turner, the Tina the musical.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there are some real just extraordinary voices giving contemporary, fresh life to this timeless story.
Yes, and it's funny because at Proctor's, they just had the new musical Six.
That's right. That's
Which
right.
was,
yeah.
of course,
Anybody
The Wives.
who got hooked on that Tudor history, who wants more girl power, this is an incredible way to continue that journey.
And when would they be able to see that show?
So that concert presentation happens July 19th to 21st.
And how do they get information?
Information on all of our shows is on our website, atfestival.org, or you can call the Wood Theater box office. Their number is 518-480-4878.
The Wood Theater.
That's right. We have this incredibly charming venue in downtown Glens Falls. It's so the Charles R. Wood Theater is a converted Woolworth's Five and Dime that has been turned into a black box theater. It is the absolute perfect place to experience new work. It's just about 300 seats. It's intimate. It is the coolest space. We're very, very lucky to partner with the Wood Theater.
And is there parking there? I mean, that's something that people are always talking about.
Yeah, there's a public lot right across the street.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great, if you aren't familiar with downtown Glens Falls, it's a darling small town with incredible restaurants and local breweries and pubs.
And the Hyde Collection.
The Hyde, that's right. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to spend a whole weekend.
Yes, yes, there are wonderful things about that. So, my goodness, it sounds like, what a wonderful thing, though. I mean, there has to be new things going out.
Absolutely.
And this is one of them.
And the last show that we're closing out the season with is a very fresh, edgy spin on a classic title. So we are also doing a new adaptation of Dial M for Murder. If you remember the
yes.
Alfred Hitchcock classic
Sure.
thriller. Jeffrey Hatcher, who's a playwright who created the stage adaptation of Tuesdays with Morrie. He's a gorgeous, gorgeous playwright. He has created a new thriller that we're closing out the season with. It is just delicious.
Good. So we're going to close on that note for a moment, and I'm just going to mention what we have coming up in our next show. So the Armory Studios paleontologist is going to be here, and we're going to have the Bunbury Players, and I would imagine they're going to be talking about Alice in Wonderland, and you better listen or it'll be off with your head. Empire State Aeroscience Museum is also going to be here. The International Center Summer Dinners. Harbinger Theater is coming back. They've got so much going on. Home Finders. And we might have a visit from Angelo Santa Barbara. And if you know Angelo at all, you know he is such a supporter of autism legislation. So there is many, many, many more wonderful things coming up on Capital Region today. We'd like to thank you for joining us. And this was show number 1211. And so have a good week.